Over the years, I've heard a particular phrase be used, and this particular phrase I think is quite overused, and well, at least for me, has lost most of its meaning and impact. This phrase being, quote, a fate worse than death, end quote. The reason why is because I've seen it be used in so many conflicting ways, so many ways that just don't add up, like just not really computing a fate that can be thought of as worse than, death. And it was like that until I actually did end up finding a fate worse than death, or at least something close to it. And the thing that made me realize this was dealing with the death of my grandfather. And my grandfather is perhaps the most impactful individual in my entire life. In fact, he's one of the main reasons I went to this school, seeing as he has associates that worked here in the past. So part of the reason why I am even here is because of him. And, other than that, he was all around one of the greatest people I ever knew. He was a smart, intelligent businessman and had so much compassion for everybody around him. He was incredibly hardworking. He had 3 engineering degrees under his belt. And I find that very respectable. And even with all this, he still cared about all of his family, all like 20, maybe even 40 relatives he had in America, across the world, and back at his home in Armenia. It's crazy. And as I started to grow up, I started to notice something. He started to move around less, which, well, that's what happens. Older people get slower, while younger people keep moving on. That's the circle of life, they call it. And it was not until he was diagnosed with dementia and Parkinson's disease that I truly started to think about the implications of what being old means. And I'd known about these diseases before, especially Parkinson's. I've heard about that one a lot, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. I just didn't really get a good grasp until it actually started to happen. It was slow, but it was a steady process that, rather grimly didn't leave any room for hope. And day by day, he started to move less, talk less, but for the most part, he was still my grandfather. He still had his mind with him. But eventually, even that started to slip. Sometimes, when he started talking, he started to slur his words. And some other times, he would just stop talking entirely and just put his head down. And that's it. And it would kill the energy in the room. It would even kill some of the hope I had left each time. And I didn't truly, truly feel it until the day he died, or at least the night. I've seen many good people die, or heard of many good people, and of course I can't list them off right now because this meeting would probably eat up into my English block, so we would have to do that. But the death of my grandfather made me realize one thing. What is my purpose on earth? And what is death? Or that's 2 things. Watching my grandfather slowly decay in front of me day by day, it horrified me. And that one night when I saw him on his deathbed, struggling to breathe, I just noticed how malnourished he had become, how much he shaked. That was the moment, the very moment I found a fate worse than death. Not to die, not to die alone, but to die without your mind, to die with no memory. I left his house that night, and 15 minutes after I left, and I was still in the car in the driveway of my home, I had gotten the call from my mom. He stopped breathing. I've done a lot of thinking about death as a concept, about what it means to die, and I still haven't quite figured it out because that is a tall order and no one's expecting me to fill, but I think I've processed the concept well enough. And after all my hours of thinking, I came upon to the conclusion. In any case, I don't want to fear death. I, even if I lose my memory, I don't want to fear the end. Because at the very base of it, I think it's useless to avoid the inevitable, to spend countless hours worrying about it, fretting about it, staying awake at night, thinking about it. 'Cause I want to move forward because I know I don't have any more time to waste than the time I'm already giving. I don't want to just sit around and complain. I want to be something. I want to go somewhere, do something. I want to change things in my own way. I want to become the man my grandfather knew I could be. Thank you.
Unbelievable, Gabe. Any shout outs, Gabe?
Uh, I could do a few. I didn't write any, but I'll keep it short. Jalen, you don't go to this school anymore, and you're probably not gonna, or you probably will hear this. You're a great friend, one of the only who stood by me in harsh times. You and Maya, I'm sorry. Mr. Spencer, you were such a great teacher over the years, and it's finally great to finally be in a class with you and letting me flourish. To all my English teachers, I would give you your own shout out, but we would still be here for another 50 minutes. You all helped me greatly in my escapades of writing, and I truly owe my success to all of you. Ms. Rudolph, thank you so much for allowing me to vent my creative speeches to you between lunch and, snack breaks. And thank you for helping me get to draw to such a great extent. And I think I'm missing people, but to anybody else who's ever helped me in their own way, be it a teacher or a friend or just someone who said hi one day, thank you. I truly do appreciate every single one of you.